Hi Aries, welcome to your reading. I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this particular video, that's when you're meant to hear its messages. Also, if you subscribe, I upload my new Aries and Libra videos on Monday. And the deck that I'm using today is called the Gilded Tarot, and it's by Ciro Marchetti. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading from me, the links are in the description. Okay. All right, Aries. So for your overall energy, you have the Seven of Swords, which talks about a dishonest person. Oftentimes this is called the lying, cheating, stealing card. So I think that definitely right now you're at a point where you're dealing with someone who is being very dishonest towards you, because it looks like this person is almost stealing these swords right out of somebody's home. So also I'm getting that for some of you, you might have had your house broken into recently, or you might have some issues with your neighbors possibly. But I definitely feel that there's a very big level of distrust and dishonesty right now in your current energy. And I think that it might have to do with the people that are within your close proximity. So like someone in your community, I feel. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are your major arcana. So you have the Chariot, the Sun, and the Empress. The Chariot talks about movement and is also representative of the astrological sign of Cancer. So there might be somebody in your life who's related to the sign of Cancer. And I'm definitely getting that this Empress is you, or how people are seeing you. The Empress is definitely the most, looking at this depiction, she's definitely embodying femininity. You know, she has this feminine symbol, very strong and very prominent, and I feel like possibly for some of you in the past, you may have struggled with femininity. And even if you're a man watching this reading, I feel like you may have had some issues in the past where, you know, you couldn't do that because it was too feminine, or you couldn't do that because it wasn't feminine enough, or whatever it was sort of related to your gender identity. And I feel like right now you're sort of taking your power back. You're definitely finding your own power and peace within who you are. And I feel like that's a really awesome thing for you guys. And with the Sun is the happiest card in the deck, right? So the fact that you got it in your reading, definitely I see triumph and happiness. And for some of you, because I see the Empress oftentimes might talk about soulmates or even twin flames, because the Empress is the Queen of Queens. She embodies all the qualities that the queens have of the suits, each individual suit, and she has them all together. And as a result, the Empress does not settle. You know, the Empress does not settle for anyone who's less than an emperor. And I definitely feel that with this Sun card, you're definitely going to see that success, and it might very much well be that you have an Emperor coming in. And sort of the last card that I want to talk about right now in this sort of happy good group is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is my independent card. Many times it's sort of the single and ready to mingle card. So if you guys are interested in looking at a relationship, I feel like now might be a good time. But I feel like more than that, it's very symbolic that right now you're not in a position where you need to depend on other people, and that gives you a lot more power to execute sort of what you want to do. And I feel like that's something that's very important to you, is being able to have your voice heard. And then I sort of see this, so like I was saying earlier, I hinted at it a little bit, but I see definitely this positive aspect of this reading and then the negative aspect, right? So you have the Five of Cups, the Nine of Swords, and then the Ten of Swords. So the Five of Cups talks about a situation where you have had something bad happen to you, but there is sort of a silver lining. So the story of the Five of Cups is that this man has 5 cups and he spills 3. And as a result, he only has 2 remaining cups. And I feel like that's very similar to the situation that you're going through. I feel like, especially if you're dealing with soulmates or twin flame energy, like there's definitely been a situation, someone that you have history with, and as a result, you know, there's been conflicts and fighting, and I think that you're very much worried about it, especially with this Nine of Swords. But remember to always keep your chin up and really sort of look on the bright side with this Five of Cups energy, because that to me is always something bad happens, but with that disappointment comes a silver lining. And I definitely see that there's a huge silver lining, right? And with this Five of Cups and Nine of Swords, that's right next to the Chariot, which leads me to believe that you're going to see movement. You're going to be moving away from that energy. And the other thing I wanted to mention is this significance of the fact that you got the 9 and the 10 of Swords. So whenever I see cards that follow each other, numeral-wise, it gives a certain sense of progression, right? So to see the 9 go to the 10 is the last number in the suit before it starts going on to face cards. So that means that 10s are completion. So the fact that you're going from the 9 to the 10, obviously there's a lot of pain here, and obviously there's a lot of mental anguish, especially with the Seven of Swords, as Seven of Swords is your overall energy, but I'm definitely seeing that now is a point where you're over. It's over. It's not so much that anymore, because I see the 9 going to 10, which is completion. I see the Five of Cups, which means there's a silver lining. And I see the Chariot, which means moving away from a situation. And on top of all of that, I see the Sun and the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles. So I definitely feel that, like, you're moving out of negative energy. And I feel like you guys may have been in negative energy for a very uncomfortably long time. And I feel like that's what's going on with this sort of final card that I haven't really talked about, is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles talks about juggling. It talks about what may possibly be competing ideals, and you're sort of being a mediator between the two, right? You're trying to balance out these two things. I don't know if I've mentioned the word juggling, but that's a word that comes up a lot when you talk about the Two of Pentacles, right? So you're juggling these ideals, and I feel like you're working towards a point where you're no longer in the one energy and you go into the other, but right now you're sort of juggling. I feel like it might be like some days are good, some days are bad, but like I said earlier, keep your chin up because there's the sun. There's long overdue victory. But that was your reading for this time around, Aries. And if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally like to know if these readings resonate for you or not. But like I said before, I upload my new Aries videos on Monday, but you're more than welcome to look at my other timeless readings that I have on my channel. And with that being said, I sincerely hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.